Wow, what a great room. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'd like to say hello and welcome to the Makeup Artists and Hairstyling Symposium at the magnificent Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. Stunning, stunning theater. What a great venue to celebrate the Oscars and all our nominees with you this morning. This event was originally conceived by Branch Governor Leonard Ingerman years ago. Though Leonard is no longer with us, yes, thank you. He was the visionary for this. Though Leonard is no longer with us, we are proud to carry forward the vision he conceived. Only that was only grown with each passing year. Leonard never missed a symposium, and I know he is with us here in spirit this morning. Thank you, Leonard, and we miss you. I'm Linda Flowers, the chair this year. With me is Jerry Quist, vice chair, and Gigi Williams, our third and newest governor. I also, thank you. Yeah, give him some love, come on.
Good morning and thank you. Thank you for being here. Now, let me explain a little about how we got to the 5 nominated films. The Makeup and Hairstyling branch meets throughout the year to discuss the films released that may have strong makeup and hairstyling work. At these meetings, we encourage members to watch as many films as possible to ensure that we have eyes on all types of movies from all over the world.
We have a great presentation for you today. Each of these films have earned the right to be nominated, as the work is truly an achievement in excellence, which is what our branch members look for. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the Makeup and Hairstyling Symposium.
Come on. There. He's still getting used to his surroundings. It is strong. William, you did it. It's so strong. You did it. All its systems are functional, all healing. And the healing is erratic, yes, but exceptional.
Why is he chained here?
For his own safety and for mine. It's easier to clean and maintain it, and it doesn't know any better.
But you do.
Does Hollander know? We have to prepare everything for the moment he returns.
Of course.
And have everything presentable. Is it intelligent? Victor, is it intelligent?
I can't fathom how exactly you did what you did. Its dimension does not escape me. Victor, did you ever ask yourself, of all the parts that make that man, which one holds the soul?
No, I didn't.
Welcome, Team Frankenstein, and congratulations on your nominations. Right?
Thank you.
Since I'm a hair person, I just kind of want to get into that red wig a bit. So I know Mia Goth's unforgettable red wig stood out in the film, I think, to everybody. One of my favorite visuals was when she was on the steps with that stunning cinematography, lighting, and choreography. The sepia tones created a painting-like effect with Mia as the vibrant and breathtaking focal point. I commend our director for that moment. It was just incredible. And I also like to commend that beautiful red wig. And Cliona, I'd love for you to talk and share. I remember at the Bake Off, you talked about how the construction, and it was quite unique. And I think the audience would like to hear about it.
It's a panel wig because you can't get hair that long. So it's 54 inches long. And Mia Goth is really tall. She's about 5'10". So I knew it had to be very, very, very long. And it's a series of ladders, sort of, if you will, that drop down the back of 36-inch hair each. And those panels were secured to her head under the wig, and a long wig that's about 36 inches over top to make the full effect.
Yeah,
Thank
it was. I remember seeing that and thinking, "Oh my gosh, how'd she do that?"
The question I had watching this movie, we all grew up, everybody on this stage, everybody in this audience grew up watching Frankenstein movies on TV. You can't get away from them. They are ubiquitous. Frankenstein movies have been made since the beginning of time, since the beginning of movies. I mean, really, back in the silent days. My big question is, you've made this epic film using everything we've got to work with in the 21st century and beyond. I think you even created some techniques to make this happen. Do you see any more Frankenstein movies in your future? Having that iconic character under your belt now and all that work, do you see, would you like to revisit it down the line? Or have you done it? Have you made the statement?
Yeah, no. Obviously, to reimagine an icon like Frankenstein, both cinematic and literary, it took a lot of thought. And the way that Guillermo and I looked at it is, we envisioned that. It's probably not your question, but we envisioned that Victor is a very brilliant artist. So there's no way he's trying to make an ugly, put together creature. A lot of Frankensteins, as incredible as they are, can come across as a road accident victim who's been repatched and resewn. And we didn't want that. We wanted, when you walk into a room and you see this poor character there, we wanted it to feel that, oh no, this is man's hand. These are geometric shapes. Somebody planned this out, somebody graphed this out, almost color by numbers. So that, a man did this diabolically and it's not a repair job. And that was one of the things that Guillermo and I really wanted to show with this creature. And also, we really was keen on it looking like it stepped out the 1800s. It wasn't to be a modern day movie monster creature. We wanted to look like, if it was in a textbook, in a library, you'd think, oh, that's certainly a vintage looking, creature. So I don't know if that was your question, Jerry.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you hit it. it. And there's a wonderful specificity to that design. Mm-hmm. And it works. And I'm impressed. I've seen the movie a few times now, and I'm very impressed with the movement that you've got. And you see the man in all states of dress and undress. Yeah. And there's a wonderful latitude to that. It's more ambitious than damn near anybody has ever tried to do.
Well, the creature, he actually is wearing 42 silicone appliances from head to toe. But some of them are very small, obviously just scars and wounds and stitches. But the makeup, as well as having all these rubber pieces, it was actually a paint job every day. And it took a long time. It took 10 hours with a few breaks, with 5 artists doing this makeup, with a very patient young actor. So the makeup took so long because it was a paint job. We had to remarble him every day, so to speak, from head to toe, because I didn't want to cover him in too much rubber. I didn't want him, if you're going to get a physique like Jacob Elordi, who's 6'5" with an athlete's body, you don't cover it up, because that's what Frankenstein was trying to make. So don't cover it up. And I'm sure a lot of people were happy with that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And now Gigi.
Hello. Could you each share your experiences in the film industry? How long have you been involved in filmmaking, and at what age or stage in your life did you realize your passion for creating imaginative worlds? And you've got a minute and a half.
I think Jerry's already touched on it. I think everybody up here, and I'm sure most of the people in the audience, were inspired by James Whale's Frankenstein and the brilliant makeup.
No, I mean your life.
Jack Pierce. Oh, I'm going.
Your life.
I'm going there.
Okay.
Jack Pierce's incredible makeup on Boris Karloff, and from the time I was a little kid, the first time I saw that movie, it was tattooed on my brain. It's, you know what I mean? And I can speak for all of us, I'm sure. So that's sort of how it started for me. And, sitting in the bathroom on the counter, the vanity with my feet in the sink when I was 8 years old, sticking latex on my face, cotton and tissue, and freaking everybody out in the house. Fake wounds. I got into this when I was in my late teens, and started working in the business in probably 89.
Great. Now, working with such a talented director on Frankenstein must have been an incredible experience. And I'm honored to introduce Mr. Guillermo Del Toro, who graciously accepted our invitation.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
No, very happy to be here. By the way, some people know this, some people don't know this, but I am part of the guild. I was a makeup effects artist for a decade. And I studied, same as Mike, I studied under Dick Smith. And he became sort of a father figure for me. And so I know what we do. I can mold, I can mother mold, I can demold, I can do alginate, I can do transfers, I can do basically everything, which makes me a torture for these guys.
Very dangerous.
Oh, I bet it does.
But by the way, I want to start by
take my brush away as many times as you have.
Yes, and I want to start by saying this quickly. If the Academy goes with it, I am personally committing to financing starting the Walk of Fame for Jack Pierce for once and for all.
Yes, brilliant.
I'll do it. I'll pay for every expense, but the Academy needs to lead. It's about time he gets one. That's opening statement. But these guys are the best of the best, and I work with many of them for decades, and we are truly family in the best sense. I've been in Toronto almost 20 years. Working in movies, and we have a philosophy that is that there is no departments really. Makeup and hair are production design. Production design is wardrobe. Wardrobe is cinematography. We are not creating separate fiefdoms. We are telling stories, and we're doing story and character. To give you an example, when I saw Cliona's wig, which was a few weeks before we started the motion to start shooting Mia's character as a mother, I called Kate and I said, give me a red train for the mother that is like an umbilical cord, and the camera will trail behind it. I didn't know about the wind going sideways, by the way. But I said, that's going to be echoed at the end with the red wig. So we are, and constantly we see what we can echo, and we are all storytellers, and so are you. Makeup effects, makeup, hair, are not beauty things, they're storytelling devices. So you are storytellers.
Thank you.
Guillermo, I have to ask, would you like to revisit Frankenstein? Would you like to make a sequel or any other journey?
Fuck no. No, this is it. This. 50 years to get to this.
Yeah.
I was born and put in this world to make this movie. This is the movie. So, it's like I married the cheerleader. I want to go home. If I may, this exhibit downstairs and what we have this year here is the thing that can save cinema is to consider it a worldwide enterprise. There is not just one country that makes movies. Look at the people that we have in these panels today. They're from Japan, from Eastern Europe, from all over the world. We are a very, very dedicated minority of people that believe that you do things with your hands, that you punch hair, that you put your soul into every piece of clay. So remember, and when people talk about other things, I will not say the word A or I, but when people talk about all those things, they're not done by humans and should not be consumed by humans. It is.
Thank you for saying that.
It is the difference between a bad old Twinkie and high cuisine. We are, and I must say, in this year, in this moment, the rarer our craft is, the less people want to do it, the more we should do it. The weirder, the rarer, the strangest, the less popular. That's what we want to keep alive. That's what commitment is.
Nice.
Thank you so much. It's been a great honor to interview you guys. Thank you for being our special guest. All right, give it up for
Thank you very
Frankenstein.
much.
Do you validate parking? Good night. Good night, Cleveland. Thank you.
ちぼちや。ミドルで。
Thank you so much for being here. It's just such a pleasure to have you to represent this beautiful movie. My big question to start off with is Kokuho is one of the top earning movies in the history of Japanese cinema. And I'm curious, has there been an increased interest in traditional kabuki theater as a result of the popularity of this movie? Is a new audience being found for this form of theater?
もう歌舞伎はもうこの映画が出てからもうすごくお客さん入ってると思います。大入りです。
Well, first off, yes, there's more people that are going to see kabuki thanks to this film, for sure.
Excellent.
Naomi.
Hi.
Hi. Can you show the audience the back of your kimono, please?
後ろを見せていただいていいですか？
Oh.
観客に。
You have to see this.
Kiss.
Who knew?
And why do you have kiss on your back?
なぜキスを背中に？
キスは日本の歌舞伎をお手本にこの顔をしたっていうのを昔聞いたことがあったので、それで私も歌舞伎メイクなので今回はこれにしました。
Well, I heard that Kiss actually got the idea of their white makeup from kabuki theater, and since that was my job, kabuki makeup, I decided to put that on my kimono.
Oh, great.
Your film stands out for its meticulous attention to detail, innovative incorporation of contemporary techniques, while preserving traditional historical methods, and most importantly, your exceptional storytelling prowess that never diverts attention from the actors' narratives. When did you know this was something you had to do? Like you were destined to work in the movies?
私はいつもリー監督からお話をいただいてことが多いんですけれども、今回もまた難しい話をいただいて、でも考えるとやはりなかなかできない映画だなと思ったので、とても緊張はしましたけれども、頑張ってやりました。そしてこの2人を本当にこの映画に巻き込むことができて大成功でした。
So I always work with director Sang-il Lee. So when he came to me, I thought, oh, wow, this sounds like a difficult one. But I also thought that this is something worthy of giving my best. So I did exactly that. And it's really, I think the biggest success has been having these two here work with us on this film.
そうですね、歌舞伎っていうのはすごい400年以上の歴史があります。それを普段は役者さんなんですけども、今回は俳優さん、歌舞伎じゃない方を、作っていかなきゃいけない。その辺のところの苦労とかはありましたけども、監督、周りのスタッフ、 が、キャストさんも含めてみんな信用して歌舞伎の重たいカツラを、かぶって演じてくれました。それが素晴らしいことでした。
Kabuki has a 400-year history, and to work with non-kabuki actors in this case was a very unique challenge. And so it was something that the director and the crew, everybody got on board with, and we all trusted each other deeply. And so that's how we were able to have these actors swing these heavy wigs around and still make it work. So we're happy with how that worked out.
歌舞伎、本物の歌舞伎に見えないといけないと思ったので、そこを私たちが助けられたのかなって、助けられればっていう気持ちでしたね。それがどうでしょう。ね。本当に本物の歌舞伎に見えるように、普通の役者さん、俳優さんが歌舞伎役者に見えるように、私たちの力で何とかしないとって思いました。
So we just really focused on making the kabuki look real, and I think we were able to help with that. So really our focus was how do we have normal actors look like they're real kabuki actors, and I'm pretty happy with how that went.
Yeah, beautiful job. First, I want to say that we are so thrilled to feature a Japanese movie based on a theatrical art form. And it has been an intricate part of Japanese culture for over 400 years, as Tadashi has said. My first question is has there been a significant change in kabuki makeup and kabuki wigs over that time frame? And then I'd like for Tadashi to talk a little bit about his training that he spoke about at our bake-off to do this type of theater wigs.
私は学生を卒業しまして、師匠のお父様のうちに、うちから住み込みで、劇場に通って鍛錬をしました。あと仕事場にも行ってカツラを言う修行をして今回に至っておりますけども、カツラを言うっていうのは日本髪ですね。大変な鍛錬が必要です。ちょっと修行は辛かったですけども、やっとこういう映画が成功して、なんか日の目を見たような気がいたします。
So after I graduated from being a student, I started training with my master, but I did the training while living at my master's father's house, which was kind of tradition. And so I lived there and trained very hard, and weaving the wigs is a very difficult job, and it was a very tough thing to learn. But now to have this kind of success and kind of be out in the limelight, so to say, feels like a great reward.
Can you talk a little bit about the construction that he spoke about at the bake-off, about the metal head base and how you have to pound it?
カツラはもちろん全部それぞれ役者さんに合わせるわけですけど、土台は銅の板ですね。それを本人に合わせて丸くカツラの頭蓋骨に合わせていくわけですね。それにパーツがついて、それを私が言って、かんざしもつきますからね、かなり重量が、日本の伝統というのはその衣装も重いし、カツラも重いし、それが日本の伝統でいいところなわけですね。
So the wig is shaped to each actor, of course, and so there's a copper plate that we would hammer and shape to the shape of each actor's skull. And then there's parts that are put on that, and the weave is then applied. So there's also a comb that is added as well. So it becomes very heavy, and so is the costume. So all of that being heavy is a very, I think, important part of the Japanese traditional outfit for kabuki.
And I wanted to ask the ladies a little bit more about the makeup. Like, has the kabuki makeup changed very much over the years?
もう何百年も昔からずっと、受け継がれて継承してきたものなのですが、役によってお顔が決まっています。それをもうずっと守って、お顔を作っていくんですが、なので大きな変化っていうのはないと思います。しかし化 粧道具ですね。お化粧の道具は、その時代時代でいいものに変わってはいっています。昔は鉛とかが入っていたので、とても肌に悪い、体に悪いものが入っていたので、今はもうそういうのはどんどんなくなっていってしまって。
So this makeup has been used for hundreds of years and passed down and used in the same way. Each role in kabuki has a very certain look that's already predefined, and so we followed that very meticulously, so there's no big change there. But in terms of the tools, we've used much better ingredients. For instance, there used to be lead in some of the makeup. We don't do that anymore. And so that's one way that it has changed.
And for those who have not seen the movie, this movie spans over 50 years. And so the period makeup and hair, you see how the American influence of hair and makeup in Japan happened with the transitions that they would take the characters from beginning to end, and how the periods, all the period makeup and hair that they did was also just incredibly well done. And like to commend them for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we have a few minutes left. Is there anything they'd like to share with the audience?
私は歌舞伎のメイクには携わっていなかったんですけれども、途中で主役の菊男が屋上で踊るシーンがありまして、その時のメイクは最初に綺麗に作っていただいて、それを私がこの菊男の気持ちになって、今の菊男の状態、これが生き様というか、菊男の生き様、あと悲壮感、そういったものがこの絵を見ただけでお客様が菊男の人生が見えるようなメイクをしたんですけれども、それがコラボみたいな歌舞伎と普通メイクのコラボでした。
So I didn't do the kabuki makeup. I did all the other makeup. But there was one time that we got to collaborate, which was the scene where he dances on the rooftop and the makeup looks it's kind of rough with the tears and everything. And so that moment, I really took it as a chance to show what he's feeling inside internally, and just kind of to project his whole life as one image for the audience to see. And so that was one really fun thing that we got to do together, was that scene on the rooftop.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming this far to be with us. And it's an incredible film, and your work is truly an achievement. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are earth and beast and God. We are woman and man. We are connected. You and I. To everything. Taste the sweet pain of death. We will make beautiful music together.
Each of you has dedicated a significant amount of time to this industry, contributing your artistic talents and expertise to character development and storytelling. Your efforts have been instrumental in helping actors and directors create cinematic masterpieces. I'm seeking stories from your careers. Have you ever faced a situation where you considered leaving the industry but ultimately persevered?
First time I got nominated, I got fired off the next 2 films in a row.
I love your honesty, Ken.
For political reasons. I was politically backstabbed. Oh my goodness. And I was going to quit. I'd spend 5 weeks developing formulas for my tamale factory. And that's what I was going to do. I was ready to leave the business. Unfortunately, they called me back.
I think I was going to leave the business while we were filming Sinners. Just kidding, just kidding. Oh gosh, the Louisiana bugs and the heat got me, and I was preparing to get married while we were filming, so it was a lot. I was like, what am I doing this for? And my husband was like, no, you can do it. You can do it. He was that silent voice in the back of my head, but I love what I do, and to be honest with you, I'll probably be here until the day I leave this earth.
Amen.
I mean, I think I always joke on every film that this is my last. Like, I'm done. Like, I really mean it. I always tell my team, like, I really mean it this time. Like, this is it. And then something incredible happens. You have a great day on set, or, something that you work so hard on, like, really comes together, and all right, I think we'll do it again. We'll do it again. Or someone like Ryan Coogler calls and says, I have this script and there's vampires, it's New Orleans, and your mind just starts firing off with ideas, and you get into it and you go through the whole thing again. But it's we love this so much that it is really hard, but it's so worth it.
It's worth it.
I know. I think you spend half your life trying to get in and the other half trying to get out.
Yeah, fair.
In my opinion, Sinners exemplifies the term film noir, a stylized popularized by Orson Welles. In 1946, French critic Nino Fran described it as a dark film or a black film. Director Ryan Coogler has embraced this genre completely. His brilliance shines through in his writing, directing, and casting choices. He also collaborated with a talented team to bring this artistic vision to life. And we would love it if you could share your personal and creative contributions to the film. And that could include designing the hair, the makeup, just whatever you help to convey the story's narrative. Mike, do you want to start?
Yeah, one of the early conversations Ryan and I actually had was about the movie The Thing, which Ken actually worked on, which is legendary.
It's wonderful.
There's this sense of paranoia. You don't really know who the thing is or where the thing is hiding in amongst the cast. So it was a really specific reference. And we had to figure out, how do you show that they're vampires, but these characters can actually come to the door and try to get into the mill, and you're not really sure if they are or not. So we had to always think about where the design would come through, where it would kind of break through the surface of who these characters look as humans. So it became very subtle, and it became very based in reality. And then by the end of the film, we got to really take it to an extreme place where we had, full, as you saw in the reel, like burning vampire suits with talon-like claws. So very calculated kind of ramping up of the supernatural and the makeup. But I definitely felt the DNA of The Thing, and Ryan had the poster of The Thing in his office, so we would always and Ken and I would, in between takes, I'd always be like, Ken, tell me a Thing story. I need a Thing story today. So.
Yes, I know for hair design, we wanted to make sure that it felt like real people. And when you think about the 1930s and down in the Delta, we want to just make sure that we express like true culture, real life, that you can feel the characters through watching them on the screen. And, just having a team to make sure that we all pull together, and that every texture that you see, you see the sweat, you see the hard work, you see, and you can feel, and you can resonate with that person when you see them. And it's like, we research so much, and looking at amazing photographs from amazing photographers that were from the Delta at the time, and going through my family's images and photos, and trying to find Stagg, find Mary, and find Perline, like find these people, and just making sure that we can express it to the true authenticity when you did watch them on the screen. So the real life was the inspiration for us.
And how many wigs did you have?
Ha ha ha. How many wigs? So we 80%, 90% of the film was everyone's natural texture. Natural texture. Thank you. Thank you. And we had 2 wigs on our main cast. Delroy Lindo, that plays Delta Slim, he's a bald man. He wanted to feel and look different, so.
Most people on set had no idea that Delroy was bald because they wouldn't see him coming early in the morning.
Yeah.
It looked so real.
Yeah.
It was so real.
Thank you. Yeah. And so he had a wig, and Perline had a wig as well because she did not want to take her blonde hair back to its natural color. And so we just braided her down and gave her a nice textured wig and just made sure that she felt true and real. So that was our wig stories.
Shunika, you have a special guest you want to introduce.
Yes, I do. I do.
Do you have a special guest, Shunika?
Yeah, we have a special guest. Give it up for Omar Benson Miller, a.k.a. Cornbread.
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 Hello, everybody. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, let's do it. Look at you, beautiful people. All you film geeks out here. Outstanding. I fit right in.
I have a question for Omar.
Okay.
'Cause I haven't been able to speak to this movie yet. Omar, you guys were working in nothing but heat and humidity and bugs. How did you deal with it? I mean, did they have cooling tents for you or some sort of special rig to...
No.
How did they keep anything on you?
Simple answer is, you know what? This is a trip because I just saw something that Barry Jenkins said where he was talking about filmmaking is blue collar work. And it's very important for people to understand the glamorous part of filmmaking is now.
Yeah.
When we get to promote the film and when people are accoladed for their fantastic work, like the team is here, like Shunika, Mike, and Ken are. But making a film in the summer in New Orleans with termites and mosquitoes and alligators walking on set and chiggers and all sorts of stuff is not glamorous. So we suffered is what we did. But it's great because I really believe that that's a big piece of the authenticity of the film.
Yes.
I agree, absolutely.
You see the sweat is real.
It's real.
You know what I mean? Like with that feeling that they were able to capture through the artistry of the artisans up here, that was helped and intensified by the environment itself.
And no doubt that informed your performance through the whole thing.
You couldn't ignore it. There's no way to ignore it. I'm a guy that shows up to work. If we're supposed to start at 7, I show up at 6:45, put my clothes on and get busy. I don't wear makeup. I come with my hair usually how it is. So this film was a complete departure for me. And in that, it shows that you can, as an old dog, learn some new tricks. Because I was in a position where when they blow off my face, which is so weird to say, which you can see at the exhibit. I don't know how many of you guys have seen.
Yeah, go downstairs. It's cool.
It's something special. It was kind of weird, though, to see myself. It was very weird. Anyways, so when they blow off my face, that was 3 different pieces, prosthetic pieces, because he's a vampire, so he heals up. And it was 2 hours to put that on. And it was an hour after work to take that off. But most importantly, while we're doing the Irish jig, it's a muzzle. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't drink. I couldn't eat. And Fontaine is a maniac. He's that committed.
I mean, I really did torture you, and I'm so sorry for that. I mean, you couldn't eat, couldn't talk, couldn't see. I mean, we had a little hole in the mouth.
But you got an Oscar nomination, so come on.
But it's the
He got an Oscar nomination.
Omar took one for the team.
Pobrecito. You know?
But it's such a
Correct that.
commitment.
He got an Oscar nomination. I just suffered.
You'll be back, Omar.
It's such a commitment, and I could not do anything. The team that worked with me, we could not do what we did if it wasn't for your commitment to doing that for real. And for Ryan Coogler for saying, I want to do this for real and shoot it. I mean, you had blood tubes going up your back, and you had mosquitoes to sear up blood, running down your body at
They stuck to
3 in the morning.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. It's amazing.
Oh, it's worth it because look, we have a bunch of people around the world who appreciate the work, and ultimately, as an artist, this is what it's about.
and it all feels very, very real.
The vibe I got, I've seen this movie 3 times in different venues. I haven't seen it on TV. Don't look at this movie on TV. Sinners is a big movie, big theater movie. The vibe I'm getting is commitment. You guys were in 100%. Congratulations. Glorious, glorious work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It definitely checks all the boxes for me. Just an incredible movie.
It takes a village.
It really does. It really does. And in this situation, the village was very rarely, when you work on a film, is everybody on one accord. You would think that you are always on one accord because you're there to make the film. But in real life, there's usually friction somewhere. And this was as oiled as you can get. There was no friction. Everybody was there for the cause and to ensure that the production itself was as successful as possible.
100%.
100%.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all the nominations. Congratulations on your nomination. Congratulations on a film well done.
Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thanks, man.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway. Oh, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the words he truly feels, and not the words, the what it is. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Welcome, Team Smashing Machine.
Thank
That's
you.
Incredible transformation. That might be one of the most precise transformations I think I've ever seen. I totally forgot it was Dwayne Johnson. And more importantly, I felt like Dwayne forgot that it was him. To look in the mirror, know that you're there, but for those moments, you get to be somebody else. I know makeup and hair can do that for an actor, and that's why we have such a relationship with them. And I would love to hear what it was like for you to design, apply, and maintain incredible adaptation of Mark Cure.
The amazing thing was that the commitment they had, Dwayne and Benny. And I read the script, and it was a great script. And I talked to Dwayne. And we were discussing, okay, how far should we take? And also talk to the producer about the schedule and the budget. And especially involved a lot of fighting. So if I do too much pieces on his face, it will be lots of repair job on set, and that would delay the filming. So, because it was first time for Benny to do this kind of movie with using prosthetic makeup. So I suggested let me do 2 different sculptures, and we can talk about it, and we can decide. And so we end up picking the subtle one, but still effective to make Dwayne look like a Mark Carr. It was interesting because he trained really a lot. From the beginning of the production, we did a scan And when we did the actual test makeup, he already changed a lot, you know. And so it's important point to do a design was like I wanted to respect both. You know, Mark is still alive, and Dwayne, and so how to combine both together and to make it authentic in a look, and that was important part.
And you definitely achieved it. I just was so impressed with that transformation. And would you want to talk a little bit about applying it daily and then maintaining it?
Sure. Applying was the easy part. It was maintaining that was the difficult part, as you can imagine. You have boxing movies, which offer its own challenges with blood and sweat and everything else. But now you're adding mat work, so he's wrestling not only for the takes but for rehearsals and everything else. So he would often come up with an eyebrow dangling or something, say a little piece of prosthetic that needed to be re-glued, or color that had come off, tattoo coverage as well. So we definitely had our work cut out for us. But we kind of arranged it with production where we had a triage system. So if there was damage, we would say, okay, this is how much time it's going to take. And then they would decide, okay, what do we do? Do we go to plan B or do we allow them to do the repairs now? So I think we had a very good system and the team was so great, on production. So that was very helpful.
And Bjoern, I know you've worked with Dwayne a lot. What was your experience like with him doing this?
Well, first time on this movie, if you see the fight scenes are like shot from below, from the view of the audience. And the most tricky part was because he was constantly moving on stage and in the ring with the other fighters. And, it was very physically, it's like a lot of rubbing, a lot of sweat, not our sweat, it's only so the counterpart sweat. So it kind of and Dwayne built up so much more body weight, I think he was almost like 280 or 290 or something, it was like massive, so his arm is like this, so, and seeing this and, moving around, so you're constantly, whereas I remember it was like we were standing there and I'm looking, it's okay. So there was a little break and then we walked into the, into the ring and then trying to, whatever we had, because those fighters are like, the body is like hot, because of the muscles, they don't want to get injured. So they're not going to sit down for 20 minutes because, we have a little, so breakage in the makeup. So, it was good. We did good. We were kind of like
survived
in and out, in the ring. And then we had to change our shoes, no socks, only the socks because it was everything white. And, it was.
I think Bjoern and I kind of developed a little sign language with our eyes, like, okay, now's a good time. Let's go in quick.
Gotta go.
Or just let them go.
I saw the movie before it was released to the public, and it's one of those things. I was moved by it. I mean, it was just such a no holds barred telling of this man's story, and it's not particularly happy. I saw it twice. Saw it and went back and looked at it again. And another one, friends, this is an example of a movie you really should see in a movie theater. If you have a chance just to be able to take in the glory of this work, the commitment that it took to pull this off between these folks and Dwayne Johnson. I mean, it's impressive. In my reading, I came across an interview with Emily Blunt, who got to work opposite Blaine. Certainly, Dwayne, she certainly didn't have to suffer through any of this elaborate procedure, but she mentions being staggered, quite literally, emotionally affected the first time she saw Dwayne in full makeup on the set. Her quote is that everything changed. People went quiet, and there was magic in the air when he came on as this character as a result of all of your work. And I'm curious, is there a point during the development of all this, was there a point where you thought to yourself, hey, this is something. This is unique. This is special in my career?
Right. It's it came sort of like the first time we did a test makeup. Usually what we do, we are critical about our job. So almost like more like, you do your job, but become observer. And it has to be like based on the reaction from actor and the director. How good it's going, because you cannot just be happy about your work. It's always just that we have to go through that process. But just seeing, I usually step behind and looking at the Benny's face and the Dwayne's face and how they reacting it, and how Dwayne looking at himself in the mirror. So that was okay. All right, that's good. That's good. And the rest that's improving more. And the first time I saw Mark on set, he came to see Dwayne, and what I heard was Mark's son was texting Mark. This is amazing shit. Like he's like, look like you and stuff. So and Mark was freaking out, when he saw Dwayne. So that's a good, good.
There was an indicator.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to ask, did you guys have a similar moment?
Well, I think to your point as well, when Mark Kerr himself was on set watching takes and just almost breaking down, like really getting emotional about things, and feeling like he was reliving it. It felt special the whole time, though, really. And watching Dwayne wanting to pivot and really do something different.
Your work on Smashing Machine is a masterclass in technical proficiency. I was blown away watching that movie. And it was so incredible. I had to go to IMDb to make sure who was playing the wrestler. I was like, that can't possibly be The Rock. But it was. It's difficult to discern any significant flaws. Your collaboration as a team is evident, and I'm eager to explore the specific contributions of each of you throughout the development, from application, etc. And I heard that, Bjoern, you were very influential in where your pieces went, since he knew the body so well. You avoided the places where he said it sweated really badly, so that you all worked together in that respect, right?
Because when I was designing it, I talked to Dwayne. Okay, where does he sweat the most? Because he knows. He's been working with Dwayne over 10 years. Oh no, 5, 6. Based on that, I kind of try to avoid to put the piece on that area. But of course, there's injury pieces have to go on over the likeness makeup too. So that I cannot avoid. So, but we had a constant communication about, how to make it work and keep it minimum, whatever the accident or, something you have to touch up on set. And that's very important, because it's very, very valuable information he had.
There's so much that goes into that. So much.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he is a sweater. He would be beating up while I'm making him up, like literally sweating in the chair.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I'm not good at that, so
I'm just really happy to be part of it because, like I said, watching Dwayne wanting to pivot, and Benny going out on his own and doing his thing, and just the entire crew and working, with Dwayne's crew, you and Rachel and everybody else was just really, really special.
I think it's one of his best performances that I've seen, and I think the makeup definitely contributed to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking when we the whole process and get him ready every day, and what was outstanding for me, working with those guys. I mean, you guys, first time that it was such a harmony, and that it was never like a weird kind of situation, or we kind of like people in the business know it's like. You're developing your ballet around the actor, so when you step in, when you go out, when you're doing your things, get them ready in 3 hours or 2.5. So it was quite enjoyable, also, to do it in the morning, it's like, because there was like support from each side, and, we know when we, creating something nice.
And I want to thank Vincent Van Dyke and his team. I think they're here.
Oh, well done.
They've been making mold and cast pieces for me, and also Diana Choi, who made a beautiful wig for this, Dwayne.
Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you very much.
Well deserved.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Linda.
Det här är Elvira. Isak tar hand om alla mina hästar. Kom. Har du läst Frances poesi? Jag är gift med man. Jag vill jag verkligen.
Åh! Och nu? Åh. Åh.
Sluta då.
Ja, men Agnes var inte så tråkig.
Ja!
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
For the sake of our audience, where did you fly in from?
Copenhagen, Denmark. So.
Copenhagen. Right. So much of the attention around the film has been the really graphic, gory mutilation work that you've done. What a lot of people don't realize is just how much subtle, delicate makeup went into the creation of Elvira. She's a heavier character when we first meet her. And a lot of folks just don't understand the level of skill. I mean, it's one thing to cut somebody's toes off. It's another thing to take a young woman and make her look heavier, plumper, rounder. You achieved this on a level of finish and expertise that very, very few people will ever be able to do. And you pulled it off, and it works. And
thank you so much.
It's such a key part of this story. And my concern was that a lot of folks just didn't realize the extent of that type of work that's in the movie. We're all thinking about the eyelashes and the toes and the nose and the, looking at this, and again, I've seen this movie more than twice now. Can you talk about the preparation time that you guys had for this? I don't think this was a situation where you had a half a year to develop everything. Could you address that?
No, we didn't. Definitely didn't have half a year. I think we had that one. It went over 3 months more or less, but there was so much stuff to do and kind of a limited budget. So we really had to come up with some solutions that would be also doable on set. We shot it in 28 days, which is kind of short.
28 days.
And 15 of those days were the Elvira in that first stage makeup. So we really had to make sure that, okay, this will actually be possible to do on set, yeah.
Were you in a situation where you're having to build stuff as the movie was being made?
Yes.
I knew it. I had to ask, but I knew that in my heart.
But the Elvira character was, of course, created, and we could cast the pieces in advance. But it was more like painting some of the dummies that are in some of the different scenes.
Part of what I adore about your work in the movie is there's this operatic aspect to it. It's disciplined, but there's a theatricality to it. There's a statement about it that I love. And it's just compelling to look at. Well done.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your passion, ingenuity, artistic eye, and ability to think outside the box have earned you this opportunity. What was your pivotal moment, the moment when you realized this was the career you were destined to have? Please share your stories.
My story was actually another way around. I was working in the cinema, and I really loved the movies. so I came in that way, in the storytelling part of it, and I was really into makeup on myself. Yeah, I think the storytelling was the big thing. I've always been super interested in movies, and the character work was just right for me. I really liked that. I thought I was going to do special effects because that was the most exciting thing for me, and I ended up in makeup and hair, and period hairdressing was just my darling after a couple of years. So that's how
I want to share something with our audience. At the Bake Off, you told this, and I adore this. There was a hairpiece, there was a ringlet that damn near every actress in the movie ended up wearing at one point or another because they needed it.
Yeah, we had a lot of pieces traveling from one actor to another, but we also had the wig of the main character was the same wig as the last movie I did was called Girl with a Needle, and it was the same because I was on a very tight budget because our director has chosen, and I think very wisely chosen, that it was a costume and special effect film. And then I got into it, and I gave it my best to make hair for everyone, and it was actually fun. It was actually.
I mean, I the first thing was that I fell madly in love with E.T. the Extraterrestrial when that came out, and that was kind of like, I think that planted a seed for the love of characters, because that just burned into my soul in many ways. But I actually thought that I was going to be a DOP, and thought that for many years, and started doing like small amateur movies and stuff like that. But then it kind of shifted towards the character thing, still coming back. I never came into this because of the gore and violence or like slasher movies. It was more like the character-driven work, and then Coming to America came and all of these things, and then it took off from there, I guess. So yeah, that was the beginning.
Making characters is the best part of this business.
Yeah.
People always when they find out I'm a makeup artist, they go, "Oh, do you make monsters?" And I'm like, "No, I make serial killers."
So we hear that you guys have a special guest. Would you both like to introduce one of them?
Yes, we have two special guests, and I will gladly introduce our lead character, the wonderful woman that plays Elvira, Lea Myren.
And I would like to introduce our Cinderella, Agnes, Thea, Sofie, Loch Ness.
Welcome. Thank you so much for traveling this far and joining us. I know the audience, and we would like to know, like, how did this movie affect you? Because it has to deal with vanity. And the transformations that went on in this film were just so incredible and believable. And just what was your experience with those?
I had the best time. I had the best time puking and also just looking the way I did. I think loving Elvira and loving my character throughout the movie and throughout the shooting was very important, to not lose her humanity and to not lose her sort of agenda, because she is not a perfect character and she goes through a lot of pain and suffering, and she causes a lot of pain and suffering for others. And so personally, I just found it very important to take care of her through me as an actress, but also for the audiences, because she is everyone, you know. We try to portray her as every woman in the world. Like we want to touch everyone that has felt something that Elvira has felt. So yeah, taking care of her as well as taking care of me was very important.
I like that answer.
Yeah, for me, it was, as you say, like, we are all Elvira. I was playing, you know, Cinderella, the ideal person, and I didn't feel that way. So it was, you know, kind of finding what is it that makes her beautiful, and it's very much her kind of like confidence and agency. But me, Thea, really felt like, you know, the stepsister, and I was going to the gym trying to think I had to be really skinny to be in this role, which whatever. And I go to the gym, and of course I break my toe on like the third day of shooting. So the whole movie, I'm limping, but she's the one chopping her toes off to be like me. So we were like, yes, we're all the ugly stepsister.
Yes.
Yes.
That's great.
Perfectly said.
I love those little stories. Right? So Cinderella was a reimagined classical story, and the spin-off of how you reimagine that is just so incredible. Because when I was growing up as a little girl, that was my favorite story, and so to see this version of it was quite interesting. But so, what did you think when you first got the script?
Me?
Yeah, both of you.
Oh, well, I think this is your question.
I mean, first, it's my first film also.
I know, incredible.
It's my first, yeah. Thank you. So I remember reading the script for the first time, and I was like, please, God, like, this is meant for me. It's written for me. It's like written in the stars. And it was, and I'm super happy about that. And I really felt this reading it. I was like, I've just spent a year in Paris studying physical theater. So I sort of came home from this and thinking like, oh God, I really want a character that is everything and can like also work with physical stuff as well as text. So yeah, it was. What was the question again?
No, just about your experience reimagining the Cinderella story.
Oh yeah.
Because
this is the best version. No,
you probably thought you were gonna. You didn't expect it to take the twist that it did. I can't believe it was your first film. You're amazing in it.
Yeah, thank you.
I have to ask, was there ever a point, okay, it's your first movie, you haven't done this before, when we look at what you went through, was there ever a point in 28 days of photography where you thought, no, this blows, and I hate it? Was it ever overwhelming, or were you able to stay in and stay enthusiastic?
Should I answer? No.
You can ask this to Thomas as well, you know.
I have a good one.
I enjoyed every day. Every day was amazing, and I was just grateful to be there. Of course, it was really hardcore days, and we had long days, and you know, we could be frustrated together, me and Thomas in the trailer, getting mixed signals and blah blah blah. But I think for me, I just tried to soak it all in. It was the best experience in the world.
The through line for all these movies we've spoken about today is commitment. From the makeup artists, from the hairstylists to the actors, it doesn't work. And many of us in this room have been in a situation where you didn't have a commitment from someone. But with it, things can work. Well done, friends.
Thank you so much for coming this far and joining us. We really appreciate it. And good luck. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I guess okay.